I'm truly honored that this man is on the show, Kentucky hip hop legend. And for the love of God, I hope I pronounced your name right. I probably should have asked you before. Yusef.
Peace.
What's going on, man?
Oh man, it's great to be on the show. Brother Kenny C in the building. What's good, baby?
I'm doing real good, man. And I want to let people know one thing. Usually, I'll be the one reaching out to people for interviews and things like that. But to hear from you, sir, and I have been listening to your music throughout the week leading up to this interview. I'm truly honored to have someone like you been on the show, and I thank you so much for taking your time, man. It definitely means a lot.
Man, thank you. Thank you, Kenny C, man. A wonderful platform, great medium, TMV. I like it because it's almost like TMZ. It got that catch in it. You know what I'm saying? We get them on the TMZ. You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's great, man. I love it, man.
Yes, man. And
Love it.
so you said you want to discuss the history of Kentucky hip hop, which I'm definitely open for. And I want to let you know before I get into the questions, I just
Okay.
started listening to local music for the last couple of years now. So
Right, right.
I'm fully aware of some of the artists that's on right now, and I've become friends with them. But and I've lived in Lexington for about a third of my life.
Right, right.
And I've listened to I'm guilty. I listened to mainstream hip hop throughout that time
It's all good.
before I listened to local music and everything. And you being in the game for for a minute or more than a minute
Yes,
for that matter,
sir.
please educate me, man. Talk about what was the hip hop scene like in Lexington when you first got started.
Yeah, man, that's awesome, man. And this really came about, Brother Kenny C. It came about because, throughout the years, I've seen some people that are not from Kentucky, sort of, ease into the scene, and they wanted to talk about, Lexington hip hop, Kentucky hip hop. So, I said, you know what? Before out of towners start telling the story, I think somebody that's, KY bred, that was there from the jump, need to go ahead and lay the record and lay it down. You know what I mean? So that was how it started, basically. But back in the early '80s, hip hop, like in the major cities, started in the projects in the housing authority. I can remember, what used to be Bluegrass Aspendale here in Lexington, Bluegrass Aspendale Projects. They had a park called Big Park. That's where everybody came out. And the DJs used to come up, spin the records, Curtis Blow, Nucleus, they all played those records. And, I was a young cat, and I was on the beatbox back then. You remember the beatbox, that flavor, you know what I'm saying? And that was pretty major. We used to rock at a center called the Charles Young Center. During halftime, we used to do the beatbox battles. And there was nothing like hearing a beatbox live in a gymnasium with the speakers. Talk about rocking the party. Oh, man, that was phenomenal. So, I made my name doing the beatbox, battling on the beatbox, getting my name up. My older brother and them sneaking me on the bus, going to the high schools, battling. So that was a big thing. Then, back in the 80s, there was a radio station. This is before WRFL, the college 88.1, University of Kentucky. I'm going to get to that, though. But WTLA was on Georgetown Street in West End. And they were the first radio station that broke local artists, rap artists. And I was I was honored to be in one of the few that they broke back in 85 and 86. With me in the group called the Deaf Boys, which is my man Supreme, who is known as Pastor Stephen Lyons now. He became a pastor. And then my my brother, Shane Church, and that was Fresh Boy D. So we, groups like the Chill Fresh Crew, City Boys, Patrick from Boston, Pat Morton, Frankie Watkins, Leon Higgins, and these brothers before me that I watched do it. So that was the, that foundation back then. And then moving on into the, and I appreciate this, Kenny, by the way, too, for letting me get this time, too, family.
Yes, sir.
Going into 88 was a very critical year in hip-hop nationally, and I was blessed and fortunate to be involved with my dear respected brother Robbie Lowe, Rob Lowe, which is Robbie Loco, and he was the DJ at the University of Kentucky radio station, which is WRFL 88.1, and he was the host of a show called The Fresh Test, and it was the most poppin', and I eventually became the co-host, and it was the most poppin'est radio station, hip-hop on Tuesdays, 11 to 2 a.m., people in the prison systems were tuning in, the federal prison, jumping, all of the whole surrounding counties, it was jumping. This was before internet, obviously before, all that. And then we got everybody in Lexington and surrounding counties to bring in their tapes. And this is back when we was rocking on cassette tapes. Bring in the tape, hear what you got, put it on the Fresh Test. And if it's whack, you get flopped. The whole community calling in, it's garbage, whack, boom. Community speaks up. If you're hot, you're hot. If it's not, it's not. The Fresh Test. That was huge. Biggest hip-hop show in the area, Central Kentucky. So that's going into the 88 era. And then after the group with my brother Shane Church, we formed a group called Eno Flex, which is one self backwards, Eno Flex, on some De La Soul type shit, one self, Eno Flex. So we made so much noise through the radio, through the region, that we were the first group, me and my brother, to get signed out of Lexington, Central Kentucky, to a major record deal out of New York, a label called Warlock Records. Label mates with the Jungle Brothers. Oh, man, I think the Tough Crew, so many great artists that was on Warlock Records. Now, and a lot of folks know that. Now, the history behind that record deal, the president of the company, and I'm about to drop some serious jewels right now, his name is Adam Levy. His father name is Morris Levy. And if you do the knowledge on who Morris Levy is, he's got a book out called The Hitman. And he owns copyrights to the Beatles, Curtis Mayfield, serious Jewish music gangster dude. His son, Adam Levy, ran the label. So they had an idea for me and my brother to get on some hippie shit, on some white hip-hop hippies, cloverleaf type shit. And me and my brother wasn't having that. We was real conscious back then. We had a song called SCD, which was stood for Secret Council of Devils. We was going in hard on the establishment, on some Public Enemy, Boogie Down production type shit. So the label said, we can't have these white guys talking about some black power. We can't have that. You get on some hippie shit, and we'll put you out. So we didn't want to go that route. The record got shelved, and we said, fuck y'all forever, and moved on. You know what I'm saying? Pardon me for the language, but that's how we felt.
No, that's good. That's all good. Take your time,
okay.
Man. Take your time.
Okay, thank you, Kenny. And my physical, my brother, he was damaged by that, man. It hurt him bad. That was a big deal, and it hurt him bad. And to this day, I can honestly say he's still affected by that situation. So, nevertheless, Joey Truax keeps it moving. Boom, boom, boom. My management and a brother that grew up in Lexington with me as well, talented brother by the name of Marcus Best, but he's known in hip-hop as Seven R Alias. I'm going to give you another heavy jewel. My man Seven was the hottest producer on all the Ja Rule records, Murder Inc., Irv Gotti, Jennifer Lopez. Google and check my man Seven Alias from right down the block. This was my music partner. And we went out to Houston, Texas in the early 90s and chilled with my man, stayed at his house for months, my man John Beto, Nigerian dude, platinum producer for the Ghetto Boys. And then his man Mike Dean, white boy Mike Dean, did all that production, him and John Beto for the Ghetto Boys and Rap A Lot. So our management had us out there vibing with them, and we set up shop. I did a lot of co-production, a lot of underneath money, hooking up beats, getting the bread. A lot of times producers, it says Dr. Dre on the title, on the credits, but really Dr. Dre wasn't touching that. A lot of folks was underneath him, and I was one of them dudes in the camp, getting bread, living it up, and some of the big guys was getting credit. And that's peace. That's how it worked. That's how we did it. So Marcus, or Seven, stayed out in Houston. You know what I'm saying? He stayed out in Houston. I had my daughter. My daughter was born 94. So I came back, on some got to, take care of my seed type shit. He stayed in Houston. He grinded, slept on benches, couches, grinded so hard that he, boom, blew up and got the deal with Irv Gotti. We was like, yo, Seven is in. So big up to my man Seven. That was the 90s. And, and I just remained active and still active on the scene. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a quick synopsis of my travels and the original history. And got any questions, family, go right ahead. That's just a quick synopsis of what's going down, baby.
I definitely appreciate all that and the history. And it's funny you mentioned Seven because I may have listened to some of his music recently. I was listening to Ashanti's Concrete Rose the other day, and he was all over Ashanti as far as behind the beats. So, that's a dope producer right there, man. And so
yo, let me tell you, my man Seven back in the day, because we grew up on the north side of town, Windburn, Hollow Creek, Green Acres, Marlboro, on the north end. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, man, Windburn was a tough neighborhood. We was the only white guys out there, and even Marcus Best, even Seven, he lived in the back. So I remember sometimes, he used to be like, yo, can y'all walk me back, to my crib? You know what I'm saying? Because, it was hectic on the streets, man, back then. Man. Real hectic. Not like it is now, but anyway, I just want to slip that in.
Now, obviously, it's very important, regardless of where you are, what type of music you do. It's always important to pay respects to those who paved the way for the people of today.
Thank you.
Some people get it, some people don't. You being an artist and all, do you get the sense that maybe there's some artists out there, not just locally but mainstream, may either forget or not aware or just don't care, like about the artists who paved the way for them to have the platform where they are today? Do you, as a veteran artist, do you get that sense when you listen to the music that's out there today?
Absolutely, yeah. That's a common thread that runs through the music, runs through the industry. Even locally, some heads. What's up, Raheem? Even locally, some cats don't get it, which is fine, but I think that stemmed from, Kenny, I think, when the labels came in and got a hold of hip hop and started, marketing it, they took it into a level of supreme business aspect, and it sort of diminished the culture, which the culture of hip hop does recognize its pioneers and its veterans. So when the business side really got heavy, it became a sort of a glamorous thing, and people tended to chase the money and chase the fame, the popularity, notoriety. It was all about self, which is fine, notoriety, going for self is showing improvement. That's great, but it has lost that. But it's coming back. It's full circle. I see a lot of things changing, and I'm fortunate to be a part of that change. We're in the season of Aries, and that's me all day. You know what I'm saying?
You bring up a valid point as it pertains to the record labels, the execs, the A&Rs. They tend to chime in, and sometimes there's artists out there, especially hip hop. There's a lot of people out there that likes to fabricate, talking about what they've been through, what they don't have, and things like that. And it goes back to what I said earlier as it pertains to mainstream hip hop. Like I listen to the parties and the loving and the club joints and things like that. But as I get older, I tend to look for substance in hip hop, and I look for. That's why I listen to Common. I listen to Talib Kweli. I listen to Mos Def. I listen to those people that makes you think lyrically. That makes you that makes you comprehend. Like, man, they really say that? I'm like, yeah, that's what they say. So I feel like, and I keep telling artists this, regardless if they're local or just, those that's indie or whatever, all I want as a hip-hop fan, And it's one thing to rap about who you are, when you came from.
Hmm.
I want substance in hip hop. I want people to rap about, what they can do for their community. Talk about some tough issues in this world that we live in. It's a cold, cruel world out there, and I get it.
Word, man.
And I get, you gotta. It's at the end you're getting paid, you're getting food off your plate or whatever, you
Hmm.
know. But it's just hip hop has a knack of taking chances more than any genre, and
Word up, man.
I feel like that's what's lacking, is taking chances, speaking on real issues instead of fabrication stuff that
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
man. And we were fortunate to get that back in the days, like The Message, Grandmaster Flash, with
Hmm.
those hit records, The Message, and we got it. You know what I'm saying? And then of course the conscious artist back in the day, Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, Poor Righteous Teachers. We had a lot of Nation of Islam influences in that, and then of course the Nation of Gods and Earths, or the 5%. And I want to send a special shout out and peace to the gods, peace to the earth, and all the positive people in the universe. That history is heavy in hip hop, and I'm a 5%er, and I teach freedom, justice, and equality of all human families, and recognize that the black man and woman are the divine beings on the planet, the founders of civilization. So this is what we teach, and that influence was super heavy back when we was coming up. So definitely got to say peace to the gods. You know what I mean? Word is born.
Absolutely, man. And as far as you is concerned, like, you put out a lot of music, and I've heard your music through SoundCloud. I heard your music through Reverb Nation. I definitely like the tracks that you put out, man. I like
Thank you, family.
it's
Thank
it's
you.
it's dope, and
Word.
it's it's rare that I get a chance to do a show when I get to interview someone who's been around for a long time, who's seen the ups and the downs and stuff like that.
True indeed, man.
And I feel like hip
True.
hop is headed through the right direction with the J. Coles and the Kendricks and things like that. It's just
Hmm.
a matter of who else is going to step up. And when I mean step up, I'm not talking have the number one records or the number one albums. Who's going to go beyond that? Because here's something that people may not want to understand. Whether they want to, although they appreciate the support,
Hmm.
there are kids listening to this. They
That's
are,
right, man.
and more than ever, kids can listen to it without parents or grown folks not knowing it. Social
Right.
media is bigger than ever.
Yes, it is,
All
man.
it takes is a few clicks, and then all hell's
Boom,
gonna
you in a
break
whole new
loose.
world.
So, it's just, I don't know. It's just a matter of, think before you speak, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know. It's
That's
just
true.
something to keep in mind, I guess.
And some responsibility, as men, as grown men out here taking responsibility. The duty of a civilized person is to be responsible for oneself first. You know what I'm saying? Not only to teach, but to be responsible. And this is important for self and community. So as grown men, I did want to touch on, if you notice, a lot of
Hmm.
these rich artists that are blown up and making a lot of money.
Yeah.
You wonder why, things in the community don't change, but then you got millionaires, people that are bringing in buku bank. You wonder why things don't change, like basketball players, movie stars, like with the millions and billions of dollars, they could change the community overnight. But you wonder why it don't happen. I'm going to give you the jewel on this.
Hmm.
These contracts that are written up by the bigwigs up top, they have clauses in there. And you just can't go out and donate your money to who and what. It's got to be very, very particular and fine-tuned what you can do with that bread. So at the end of the day, all you can do is stack cars and stack houses, but you can't go into the community and 360 change it overnight. It's not in the contract. So just want to give you that jewel on that, family.
That is absolutely true, and I guess that's something I also want to bring up.
But peace to Puff Daddy for starting that school in Harlem, though.
Yeah,
Big shout out to Puff. Yeah,
yeah.
that's peace.
So, as far as money wise, I guess people are at their best when they are striving for that money, like they really want it. It makes them work harder to get to that money or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then once they get it, they kind of they get distracted. There's a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of, and one thing about music and entertainment, distractions comes with the territory. It's just a matter, are you gonna avoid the distraction, or are you going to embrace the distraction? And when you get to the distractions, who you gonna blame it on? Because
Man.
it's easy for people to get there and get to that success. It's a matter of hanging on to it, and what are you gonna do with with your communities? What are you gonna do with people who stood by you since day one? That
Hmm.
type of stuff can change people. Once they change people, they're gonna give you that, who, I don't know who you are, and
Right. Who are you? Oh,
yeah,
you was from my man from the block. Oh,
yeah.
okay, man. Here's
Or,
$5. Peace.
or maybe, and for time to time, you'll probably get that random family member like, hey, remember me for 15 years ago? Remember
Yeah, man.
we used to play dominoes or whatever?
Yeah, yeah. Aunt Judy, you know what I'm saying? Remember
Yeah,
Aunt Judy's house?
yeah. So, it's temptation, and I get it. It's pressure, but it's just a
And
matter
we're
of,
human, and
yeah,
brothers should enjoy their money and their fame and their glory. Not taking nothing from them brothers, but like what you were saying, the responsibility side, definitely important. And hip hop, in the culture itself, that is definitely a root element, is the civilized responsibility in hip hop for the babies, you know what I mean, in the community. So that's for sure.
and I appreciate artists out there that are reaching out to the communities, not just locally or mainstream. I want to give a shout out to a man who I consider a hero in my life, and I've only known this guy for about a year or two, but he's a dope artist and he's a great human being. I'm talking to Divine Karama in
Word ball.
Lexington, and he's doing big things, and I keep telling, I don't know if I told him this or not, but he's a hero to me. I look up to him, and I get,
Absolutely.
people talk about role models and stuff. Like, don't do that because they may disappoint you. Well, that's not the case when people like Divine Karma.
Right.
So,
Yo,
yeah,
let me add on to my brother Divine. I'm glad you mentioned Divine.
yeah,
He got a strong history in this town, actually originally with the Guards, but he went on another path, having got knowledge. He went on and went into another path, which is peace. As a grown man, he's doing great things. But let me tell you about Divine. This man, because, I was running around the nation, in part of the 2000 decade, from 2010, I was, doing my thing. But Divine was probably one of the few cats that reached out to me because he had a long-running shows in town, local hip-hop, and he was like, yo, Joey, you that dude, man, I want you to come rock. So I have a lot of respect for Brother Divine Karama because he always pulled my coat like, yo, Yusef, what's up? Get down. You know what I'm saying? Come on, rip the show. So he was a main, I'm going to be honest with you. My wife and I was talking about this. I think personally, I don't know if he wants to go this route, but if Brother Divine was to go into some gospel rap, he would blow tremendously. Just an idea. If you want to take it to that next level, I think if he pushed it over to the gospel rap, literally, not only will he get crazy dough, but I think his impact would be, it's just a thought. I just thought that. But that's my main man. Peace to Divine Karama. That's my man.
I felt like if anyone can pull that off, it could definitely be him.
Man, he would go.
He
Trust
would.
me.
He's
They
nice.
could use that. You know what I'm saying?
He definitely is capable of doing it, but he's good doing what he's doing right now.
Oh, yeah, he's dope.
He's
Yeah,
dope.
he's clean, too.
Yeah.
Mad clean. And every year, peace to everybody listening, every year we have we run a show out at the park, at Douglas Park, the Hip Hop Soul Fest. It's all given back to the youth. Free food, music, knowledge, book fair. Everybody, Divine Karama has been an element, a solid element in every year. It'll be our fifth annual, and it's in late summer out at Douglas Park. We do it for the community, all the hip-hop people. We mainly put on young people, but Divine Karama, you can feel confident bringing Divine Karama to come out when the babies and the families are out. Divine Karama handles that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to shout that out, and I make sure everybody comes out to that event. And Divine was definitely a big part of that every year, the Hip Hop Soul Fest in Douglas Park, late summer. So that's what's up.
I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on that for sure and check that out. And as far as you musically, for people that wants to hear your music or new music you have here in the works, why don't you go ahead and promote your social media links and where people can listen and buy your stuff, man?
Thank you, Brother Kenny C. Shout out to TMV, you know what I'm saying? Truth Master Victory. We're victorious tonight. Peace to TMV Cafe. You can just Google Joey Truax, Truax, not a false axe, but a true axe. Not a sword, but an axe. True axe. And you can SoundCloud /Joey Truax, Reverb Nation /Joey Truax. Some features that are really important. You can look up the NGE All-Stars mixtape, which is Nation of Gods and Earth's All-Star mixtape, which I'm featured with the god Jahaz, which is known as Vegas Posada. We're featured on that CD right now. Also on the record with Brand Nubians, Lord Jamar, Sadat X, Capadon, not Capadon on there? No, Cormega. A lot of heavy hitters, and my man Claiborne put that together, which is Demetrius Claiborne, otherwise known as 13-5, and DJ Wise in New York. All proceeds from that NGE, Nation of Gods and Earth All-Star Mixtape, all proceeds go to the school at the Allah School in Mecca for the growth and development of the youth. So you can go there and check out the featured records on that. Also on the AODC, which is the autobiography of Demetrius Claiborne, my man, All-Powerful Be Allah, or 13-5, production on his record. Also production on Soul Food, SOLE, Soul Food, on 13-5's record. And, of course, the Mad Militia. I want to big up and peace to the gods, the Mad Militia, Royal Illness, Soundtrack to the War, mad production on that. And also new stuff coming up, Mad Militia Mercenaries Creed by my man Royal Illness. Yusef, Joey Truax is going in on the lyrics heavy. So I'm going to be chopping heads lyrically. So look out for that coming soon this spring, this summer, Mercenaries Creed. I'll be featured on that, going in, with Supreme Science. I'm literally chopping heads, vocally, on some MC shit. So look out for that, family. Word up.
I definitely heard the Royal Illness song recently, and man, he's a beast. Illness he's a monster, man. He's got a good thing going with that record. So shout out to Illness and all the artists that's on that track. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing the rest of his record when it comes out. And to you, sir, it was truly an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Brother Kenny.
And it's I feel like I have a responsibility as a host on the radio, internet, or whatever. Now,
shout out to you hosting the joints. For the hybrid. There's a new, I always like to joke around and say the white rapper phenomenon. Hybrid the rapper. This guy, I'm telling you, he's coming out taking no shorts. You know what I'm saying? And this cat Hybrid, man, won some music awards shit, like coming in beasting. And special shout out to Chris Hybrid the rapper. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Doing his thing. You know what I mean?
I was at the show, and I've been friends with Hybrid for a couple of years, and his latest record, Nothing Dies Forever, is sensational.
He's a beast, man. He's focused.
And I host his album release show a few weeks ago at Frankfurt, and I plan to host another show that he's doing, Hustle and Flow 18, at Lawrenceburg. So if you are in the area, that's at the WCCW Arena with the wrestling show and all that. Go check that out. 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. A lot of talented hip-hop artists is going to be there. Hybrid is performing as well. And, just a salute to the locals. Support local music.
Word up. And y'all holler at me, man. I'm charging $5,000 for a feature, man. Get at me. Nah, man.
Thank you so much for your time, man. Continued success, and hopefully one day we'll meet each other. If not,
let's have some beers, man. I got locked up in Lawrenceburg, man. Back in the day, I'm on some spooky shit with Lawrenceburg, but I might try to make it down, man. Word up, man. I love what y'all are doing, man.
All right. Well, continued success, man. Thank you for your time. You have a good night.
Peace, Kenny. Thank you, bro. Peace.